Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Table 19. Quick side note, I am recording this on Mardi Gras, so this is my Mardi Gras spirit outfit. And I thought it would make for a great outfit to go see this kind of romantic, coming-of-age, outsider-type wedding comedy. So I went into this film very much cautious, but optimistic that this would be a fun, funny, heartwarming movie. And for the most part, I kind of came out as that was more or less harmless. But I want to start this review off with a disclaimer for anybody who's thinking about watching this film. I think the trailers present it as more of a comedy than it actually is. Because if I were to really give this a genre, it would be a melodrama with chuckles. So let's start with the positives. I think that the cast is all really strong. Anna Kendrick can play this role in her sleep. The awkward, relatable, pretty girl next door. And she nails it here, just like she nails it every other time she plays this role. I also think Craig Robinson was really good. He wasn't really the funny character I think we're used to seeing him as, but he definitely was one of the anchors for the heart in this movie, and I thought that was great. Lisa Kudrow was really good here. She does get quite a few laughs, but she also has a little bit more range to play with. June Squibb was lovely. She kind of was one note as well, but she was nice. I thought she also had a little bit to play with, and she really brought a lot of that heart here as well. Tony Revolori, I thought, did great. I think he had most of the laughs, to be honest. He really had a lot of fun with the role. His character I had problems with, but his portrayal, not so much. And then Stephen Merchant, I mean, he was just kind of awkward, weird guy in the back. He was a completely one-note character. Meh. I think that the story itself was actually really nice. I think it had a nice heart at the core of it. And you'll leave feeling pretty good. They wrap it all up into that pretty present we know it's headed toward. And I think you'll leave feeling nice. You're not going to leave like bummed out. That heart at the core of the movie does find a way to sneak in to your heart by the end of the story. Plus, outsider movies are always nice. I think we all feel like outsiders at some time. And of course, if you're not part of that like 1% in whatever it is that you're seeking approval in, it's easy to feel like an outsider somewhere amongst someone. And this movie really does speak to that. People in a weird limbo land that are like, I'm important enough to receive an invitation, but apparently I'm not really important to these people at all. What am I doing here? And I think that's also pretty relatable. I think most of us have been to weddings like that, where it's like, oh, I'm close enough to you that I got the invite, but... So on both of those fronts, it was really relatable. And some of the shenanigans that happen here are funny. There are some nice little laughs here and there. As I said, I chuckled throughout. There were cute moments throughout. I was never like really laughing at all. But some of the gags were cute. They were fun. On to the negatives of the film. This is one of those movies where we have all of these characters that have all of these problems, that they come to this wedding and magically their problems are going to be fixed. Anna Kendrick's story, I think, gets a little bit too convoluted. It definitely has the most story to it, but it's just so much that's crammed into it. It's like, wow, this is a lot to take in a single day for anyone. Plus, her character kind of ruins something in the wedding, and then it is fixed by the end, but her character is not actually the one that fixes it, and she takes the credit. So there was just kind of moments in there where you're like, ooh, I don't know, do I like you? Do I not like you? And then the relationship between Lisa Kudrow and Craig Robinson was probably the next most developed storyline here. And again, it kind of was there. They laid enough groundwork to kind of make the whole feeling come through. But we don't have time. We don't have the time to kind of go over their relationship and really get invested and really see a proper conclusion. But then there are the rest of the storylines, which literally go nowhere. They just have like these weird wrenches thrown into the action. and then nothing happens. June Squibb's character has kind of a moment, a revelation. We're told something new about her character, but the way we get there really made no sense, which unfortunately is a common theme throughout the film. But after we get there, it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't produce any sort of result, so it's kind of eh. I guess it gives insight into why her character chose to come to the wedding, but still, it didn't do much for me. And then we get to Stephen Merchant's character, which really could have and probably should have just been written out of the movie. Like, his character is completely pointless. His backstory is completely pointless. I mean, I guess it gets a laugh or two, but I mean, his character should have just been someone on the peripheral that we didn't spend this much time with. As for Tony Revolori's character, it was just so strange. Why do all of these movies make it seem so important for these teenagers to be having sex? And that's the case here again. At first you see it, you think maybe he's in his early 20s with his mom talking to him like this. No, he's a junior in high school. He's missing his junior prom to go to this wedding. And it just doesn't make sense, one, that his mom is putting so much pressure on him to find a date and, like, lose his virginity when he's just a junior in high school. It was like, oh my gosh, this is too much. And then the same thing for him. He just has all of this pressure on him, and his whole storyline is about having sex when he's a junior in high school. It was just very strange. It kind of grossed me out. And his character never really learns a lesson. Neither does Stephen Merchant's, and that's kind of the main problem with both of those, is they have no type of development. I guess maybe to have a little bit more confidence, but we're not going to talk about the hidden skill that really gets him there in the end. And as I mentioned, the script overall is just kind of a mess. I think the dialogue is fine. I think they wrote pretty good dialogue. They've created believable conversations, but we just took so many liberties and shortcuts to get from point A to point B to point C all the way through the entire film. There were huge jumps. There were huge character assumptions. There were assumptions between characters that led to truths being uncovered without any real evidence or knowledge or even friendship and knowledge of each other between the characters. So you have to just kind of go along for the ride and turn off your brain if you're trying to think logistically, if you want to get through the film. And overall, it just wasn't funny enough. I was expecting a comedy coming in, and as I said in the opening, I got a melodrama with chuckles sprinkled in throughout. Plus, it's nothing new. I kind of liked the idea of this wedding table being like the discard table, and that was fun, but really no new ground is broken here. This is kind of the same tried and true formula we've seen for these feel-good type films. Not to mention, this seemed like the most boring, ridiculous wedding I've ever seen. And that's kind of the main problem here, is I wasn't really all that interested. I got bored. I thought the movie was a little bit of a chore, and it was only an hour and a half, and I still kind of was like, oof. Okay, this wedding is trudging along and I'm not even in attendance. So, literally in the movie, because it becomes a plot point, I was thinking, when are we going to cut the cake already? My goodness. It must be midnight. What's going on? So overall, Table 19 is very meh. As I said, it's kind of a harmless movie, but it's definitely one I don't think you need to go to the movies to see. It doesn't have enough laughs. It doesn't have anything new. It doesn't have much new to say. And I think ultimately it kind of just leaves you bored for long stretches of the movie until we get to the next little nonsensical bit. So if this kind of movie is your thing, if you're looking for like a kind of melodrama comedy, save it for Redbox. Otherwise, I think you can just go ahead and skip Table 19, if I'm being honest. So, that is my review of Table 19. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below, and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Table 19? And what is your favorite movie that takes place at a wedding? Let me know either in the comment section down below or hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!